From the first video, you now know the total intensity spectrum from low to high. Don't tell the client everything. I'm now going to go through the features of the extremes. Don't sell the features, sell the benefits. And then finally, you'll be able to work out which one suits you. Don't give them a choice, close a sale. LIT work's a treat for anyone whose movement patterns are a bit suspect. If your timing's out in an exercise, or if you're being held together with superglue and sticky tape, it's a starting point. It's first, second and third gear in your car. LIT burns a higher percentage of fat and a lower percentage of sugar during it. This preserves your sugar stores so you can do weights. LIT's got a low bar to entry. It's pretty much an open door policy. Now, like a good parent, LIT is forgiving to sinful biomechanics. LIT's like being stabbed with a rubber knife. It'll hurt you less, and the injuries you do get tend to be less catastrophic. LIT is the food of practice, so you can clean up your dirty biomech with it. If you're looking to do something right, LIT's the way to go. LIT tends to recruit and use less muscle fibers, meaning muscles can be used for fuel. Not great if you're looking to maintain muscle mass without weight training, but who would do that? But if you're looking to reduce muscle mass in certain areas, LIT's your size reduction specialist. LIT allows you the option to do other things like watch TV or chin wag, because it's not all consuming. LIT has a low mental stimulation, so it is more relaxing. LIT can be controlled quite tightly with tech, so heart rate monitors, power meters, that sort of thing, for all you gadget heads out there. LIT doesn't exhaust the nervous system, so no neural overtraining phenomenon. It's kind of important if you fried your noodle. But LIT can exhaust the metabolic and endocrine systems if you overdo it. So listen and watch your body. So for example, if you find you're always tired or your hair's falling out, back off or buy a wig. LIT suits the calm and contemplative disposition. You can do LIT in conjunction with any diet, so high carb, fat, protein, restricted or balanced. LIT suits anyone who's got a greater percentage of slow twitch fibers in the muscles that they're using. You'll know this because after 12 weeks, you'll really love doing it. LIT predominantly uses lipidolysis, which is fat breakdown. But remember, the pathway's a system, and that system gets better with use and worse with disuse. Initially, if it's not very developed in you, you might just be strengthening and developing the pathway itself. So you might be doing LIT, but actually you're using a lot of sugar because your body's really good at glycolysis, which is sugar breakdown. It definitely happens to people who are more overweight, and I'll go into that in another video. Over time of practice though, just like a muscle, you'll get better and better at breaking down fat for fuel in activity. You'll be able to break down more fat at higher intensities, but this is a bodily skill. You've got the equipment in place, but you've got to clean it up, get it working, and then use it. Okay, now let's look at successful HIIT. When you come to HIIT, you best step correct. You need excellent movement pattern conditioning, neural coordination, and tendon and ligament conditioning. HIIT burns sugar like a candy floss maker, but increases EPOC, which is excess post-oxygen consumption, or afterburn. This means that after training, you're going to increase your normal rate of fat burning. HIIT tends to recruit more muscle fibers, which has a muscle sparing effect if you're combining it with dieting. Hey, finally a good use for use it or lose it. HIIT mathematically means less volume, which can mean less time in particular situations like ellipticals and bikes. But HIIT requires greater preparation. Those HIIT advocates love flashing up pictures of sprinters, but do they have any idea how long a sprinter takes to warm up? Whole civilizations have risen and crumbled in the time it actually takes a sprinter to do some sprinting. They warm up for at least an hour, then the session itself takes 45 to 60 minutes, and then they warm down, so it might not be as quick as you imagine. HIIT is like the Cobra Kai sensei from Karate Kid, not forgiving of errors. It's got a higher risk of injury, and those injuries tend to be more catastrophic. Like Jedi training, HIIT is all-consuming for the time that you're doing it because it requires your full focus. HIIT can become hard to get up for after a period of time. HIIT can exhaust the nervous, metabolic, and endocrine system, so it's easier to overtrain from. HIIT suits the frisky, energyful, and adrenal mindset. HIIT suits a high-protein, high-carb, or balanced diet, but can be a struggle on low-carb or calorie-restricted diets. HIIT suits those who've got a greater percentage of fast twitch fibers, and you'll know that's you because as the months go by, you just get more explosive. HIIT does use tech. Power meters are brilliant, but heart rate monitors aren't effective underneath 60 seconds. Over 60 seconds, they're great though. Basically, HIIT is like the overdrive button in Mad Max. If you need to compete and beat people, invaluable, but you have to have an already well-developed gear 1 to 5.
Mental doggy bag time.
If you're new, start out with LIT. If you've gone through all the gears and your biomechanics are good, then you can go to HIIT. If you're doing HIIT for really short amounts of time, like 4 or 6 minutes, you could do that daily. But the longer the HIIT session, the less times you can do it a week. And after 6 to 8 weeks, you may need to come off the HIIT, go back onto LIT for a little while, and then alternate that. Now, both HIIT and LIT improve the efficiency of your cells, the power and strength of your heart, and the size of your lungs. So looking at this long term, they're both going to be equally effective for fat loss and cardiopulmonary gains. And after a certain point, both HIIT and LIT are going to give diminishing returns on your effort. You're going to max out your gains and you're going to have to look elsewhere on the spectrum anyway. This is because intensity is a fluid variable that you apply and changes as you develop, and it's the whole reason why you have periodization. Think of it like school. You don't pack your 4-year-old off to university. And hopefully, your 18-year-old isn't still in primary school. You go to the right place at the right time. And once you've got your degree, you'll know how and when to use the full spectrum on your own. So just be honest with yourself about where you are right now and do the right thing for you, rather than what the salesman tells you it can do for you. Hope this helps. And in the spirit of low pressure sales, give me the thumbs up or not, doesn't matter. But while you decide, please subscribe. Woo! Woo!